Hey everyone, welcome back to Marvel 616. Today, we're diving into the dark and mysterious world of Werewolf by Night, Marvel's legendary supernatural beast. Cursed by his bloodline, Jack Russell fights to control his monstrous transformations while battling terrifying threats. From Marvel's horror era to the Midnight Suns, his story is packed with supernatural mayhem. If you love Marvel's supernatural side, this is one deep dive you won't want to miss. Now, let's get started. To truly understand Werewolf by Night, we have to delve into the dark legacy of the Russell family curse. First appearing in Marvel Spotlight Issue 2, 1972, created by writer Jerry Conway and artist Mike Ploog, with contributions from Roy Thomas, Jack Russell was introduced during the surge of horror-inspired comics. Jack is a descendant of Grigory Russell, a nobleman who was afflicted with lycanthropy after obtaining the legendary Darkhold, a cursed book of dark magic. This ancient text contained forbidden knowledge that doomed Grigory and his descendants to a monstrous fate. The curse remained dormant for generations, but when Jack turned 18, it fully manifested, forcing him to endure agonizing transformations into a savage werewolf with each full moon. Jack's early years were spent desperately searching for a cure while battling those who sought to exploit or destroy him. From government agencies to supernatural hunters, Jack was constantly pursued due to the danger he posed. Over time, he learned to embrace his dual nature, gaining more control over his transformations and becoming a protector of the innocent rather than just a cursed creature of the night. His journey led him to cross paths with some of Marvel's most powerful mystical figures, including Doctor Strange and Moon Knight, solidifying his place within Marvel's supernatural mythos. Unlike typical werewolves bound strictly to full moon transformations, Jack Russell eventually gains the ability to change at will, especially as he gains more control over his lycanthropy. His powers include superhuman strength and speed. Jack possesses immense strength, allowing him to take on multiple opponents at once, including superhuman beings. He has been shown tearing through solid objects, overpowering enemies with raw force, and moving at speeds beyond human capability, making him a relentless predator in combat. Enhanced senses, his heightened senses, make him an exceptional hunter, able to track prey across vast distances through scent alone. His night vision grants him a significant advantage in the dark, while his acute hearing allows him to detect even the faintest sounds, making it nearly impossible for enemies to sneak up on him. Regenerative healing. Jack's werewolf physiology grants him the ability to recover from injuries that would be fatal to normal beings. While not instantaneous like Wolverine's healing factor, he can regenerate from gunshot wounds, deep lacerations, and broken bones far faster than a human, making him incredibly resilient in battle. Immunity to most conventional weapons. His supernatural nature makes him highly resistant to conventional damage. Blades, bullets, and blunt force trauma have little effect on him, allowing him to survive attacks that would cripple ordinary fighters. However, silver weapons remain his greatest weakness, as they can pierce his otherwise durable hide and cause lasting harm. Bestial combat skills. Jack fights with a savage, unpredictable style that makes him a nightmare for opponents. His enhanced reflexes, combined with his animalistic instincts, allow him to react faster than human fighters. He uses claws and fangs with brutal efficiency, tearing through foes with raw ferocity while remaining highly agile in combat. Werewolf by Night has faced a terrifying lineup of supernatural foes, many of whom have become major players in Marvel's horror universe. Dracula, the Lord of Vampires. Jack Russell and Dracula have crossed paths in deadly battles, pitting Jack's brute strength against Dracula's centuries of experience, hypnotic abilities, and supernatural resilience. The Vampire Lord has attempted to use Jack's werewolf nature for his own ends, forcing Jack into brutal confrontations where his survival is never guaranteed. Their encounters highlight Jack's role in Marvel's horror universe, where he often finds himself entangled with dark forces beyond his control. The Darkhold and its cultists. Jack's lycanthropy is deeply tied to the Darkhold, the infamous grimoire created by Cthulhu. While reports of lycanthropy in the Russell lineage date back centuries, the first confirmed case was in 1795, when Grigory Russell became a werewolf after slaying Dracula. Generations later, Gregor Russell, a descendant of Grigory, obtained the Darkhold scrolls and compiled them into a book. Reading about the origins of lycanthropy under a full moon activated the dormant curse within his bloodline, transforming him into a werewolf. This connection has made Jack a target for the Darkholders, a secretive cult devoted to spreading Cthulhu's influence. Over the years, he has battled numerous mystics, sorcerers, and demons seeking to exploit his curse, making his struggle against the Darkhold an ongoing fight for survival. Moon Knight, the relentless mercenary. Hired by the committee to capture Jack Russell, Moon Knight arrived armed with silver-plated weapons tailored for combating werewolves. Initially, He overpowered Jack, exploiting his vulnerability to Silver. After subduing him, Moon Knight delivered Jack to the committee, who intended to use the werewolf as a weapon for their own agenda. However, upon learning of their malicious intent, Spectre had a change of heart. He freed Jack, and together they fought their way out, turning against the committee. This encounter marked the beginning of a complex relationship between Moon Knight and Werewolf by Night, evolving from adversaries to uneasy allies in the realm of Marvel's supernatural narratives. The committee is a secretive and influential organization that sought to exploit Jack's werewolf abilities for their own gain. Obsessed with harnessing supernatural creatures as living weapons, they played a major role in Jack's early struggles, hiring mercenaries, including Moon Knight, to capture him. Their influence extended beyond Jack's story, as they frequently bankrolled sinister plots, from illegal experiments to the creation of monstrous enforcers. The committee's reach touched multiple corners of Marvel's supernatural world, often putting them at odds with heroes and anti-heroes alike. Their relentless pursuit of power made them a persistent threat, ensuring Jack was never truly free from their grasp. Taboo, a sinister sorcerer, had his own dark designs on Jack Russell. A master of black magic, he sought to harness supernatural forces, including Jack's curse, for his own nefarious purposes. With a vast knowledge of forbidden spells and the manipulation of mystical artifacts, he became one of Jack's most persistent foes. Taboo's experiments often revolved around the resurrection and control of supernatural entities, making him a dangerous figure in the occult underworld. His twisted ambitions frequently forced Jack into battles that tested the very limits of his werewolf abilities, ensuring their encounters were never just about survival, but about resisting a fate worse than death. Jack Russell's life as Werewolf by Night is a constant battle against supernatural threats and those who fear him. He's faced monsters like Dracula and Darkhold cultists, but not every enemy stays an enemy. Some foes become uneasy allies, bound by survival or a greater threat. From mercenaries hunting him to cursed souls who share his struggle, his world isn't black and white. Now, let's explore those who walk a fine line between enemy and ally. Moon Knight, from hunter to ally. Though their first encounter was hostile, Jack Russell and Moon Knight have since developed a complex but functional alliance. Both men operate in Marvel's darker corners, facing supernatural threats that few others can handle. Over the years, they have fought side by side against occult forces, cults, and mystical adversaries, with Moon Knight's strategic mind complementing Jack's raw power. While their personalities often clash, Moon Knight's calculated brutality versus Jack's feral instincts, they share a mutual respect born from survival in a world that fears and misunderstands them. Morbius, the living vampire. Jack and Morbius share a complicated history, their monstrous natures putting them at odds. Their first major encounter saw them battle before realizing they were both tragic figures, cursed by circumstances beyond their control. Over time, their dynamic evolved, Morbius constantly seeking redemption while Jack struggled to control his curse. Though they've occasionally worked together against greater threats, their alliance remains fragile, as Morbius' constant battle with his bloodlust makes him unpredictable. Ghost Rider, a bond of the cursed Jack and Johnny Blaze, the original Ghost Rider, share a deep connection through their supernatural afflictions. Their paths have crossed multiple times, particularly in team-ups involving the Midnight Suns. Both struggle with their transformations, Jack with his werewolf curse, and Blaze with his demonic possession, leading to a mutual understanding. While they don't always see eye to eye, their battles against demons, cults, and supernatural horrors have made them occasional allies. Elsa Bloodstone, monster hunter extraordinaire, the daughter of famed monster hunter Ulysses Bloodstone, has clashed with Jack on several occasions due to her family's legacy. However, as Elsa's methods evolved and she encountered more supernatural creatures, she came to recognize that not all monsters deserve to be hunted. She and Jack have teamed up against larger threats, though their alliance is often strained by Elsa's no-nonsense attitude and Jack's distrust of monster hunters. Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme's good ends. Jack Russell's connection to the Darkhold has brought him into Doctor Strange's orbit multiple times. As the Sorcerer Supreme, Strange sees Jack as both a victim of dark forces and a potential threat when his werewolf side takes over. Their encounters have ranged from Strange attempting to cure Jack's lycanthropy to recruiting him for supernatural battles. While Strange respects Jack's struggle, he remains wary of the werewolf's unpredictable nature, making their relationship a mix of mentorship, conflict, and reluctant teamwork. Werewolf by Night remains one of Marvel's most iconic horror characters. He's fought alongside Doctor Strange, Blade, Ghost Rider, and the Midnight Suns, proving himself as more than just a monster. His recent MCU debut in Werewolf by Night, 2022, has reignited interest in the character, hinting at bigger supernatural stories ahead. That wraps up our deep dive into Werewolf by Night. Marvel's original supernatural beast. What do you think of Jack Russell's story? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay updated on all things Marvel. Until next time, keep reading those comics.